Okay, welcome back. I hope you guys had a great time really focusing on who your ideal client is and taking the time to really, look at those questions and kind of build out that dream client that you would love to work with because they are out there. We just need to take the time to really understand who they are so that we know how to speak, how they speak, hang out where they hang out, all the good stuff, right? So if you haven't done that, I really encourage you to continue working through that. Now, today, what we're going to do is just do a brief overview of Upwork because I get a lot of questions about Upwork, and I am a big fan of it for some things and not a big fan of it for other things. Now, so when you are looking for an ideal client, most likely they're either going to be on Facebook or they're going to be on LinkedIn. Okay, so really make sure that your profile on both of those platforms are solid. It's going to be the easiest place to find a client. If you have a very specific industry you're going to work in, going back to like that real estate example, then maybe you're not going to, or you can figure out where they hang out, but you also might be doing a different type of outreach to those clients. You might be going to a local networking group to meet realtors. So there's lots of places you can meet clients. And that's why I really want you to spend time drafting out who that dream client is for you. Now, so networking on LinkedIn's free. Facebook networking is free. In-person networking, sometimes free, sometimes not, right? So I really want you to look at what Upwork is and how you can utilize it in your business, even if you don't have a relationship with clients here. Now, I built kind of a mock portfolio on Upwork. I use it to teach people how to use it and how to build relationships here. So when you join Upwork, it is free to join. You're going to create your profile and you're going to set, what your minimum rate is. Now, here's the thing with Upwork. Upwork takes 20% of your earnings and keeps it. So that's their like fee for using their platform. And let me tell you, 20% is a lot. And so what you will see on here is that people do charge more because they're having to compensate for that 20% fee. Now, I think it's once you reach like $10,000 of income, that fee might go down, but really like who wants to pay a platform that much money? Now, one thing nice on here is they do process your payment for you. There is protection as well. So if you're willing to pay 20% for them to do all the invoicing, all the payment management stuff, then maybe it's worth it for you. You really have to kind of dive into that income spreadsheet and see if you can afford this type of structure in your business. Now, one thing I really like to do is I like to look at jobs. Okay, so let's say we built out our profile. I have a random old profile in here for recruiting and operations for small businesses. It's going to prompt you to fill out different information, like what hours you're available, how much you're going to charge. Like I said, always remember the 20% there. And then they have a thing here called connects. And so I'm not sure how many connects you get every month, but it's basically trying to prevent spam so that I can't go in and apply to every single job I see, which helps the businesses on here, right? Because it's making it people have to be choosy on whether or not they want to apply for a position. So I have 120. I don't know how many connects it would take to apply for this job. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out kind of a profile that I like. Even if you're going to use this for research purposes, which I'll discuss in a minute, it's still great to build out the profile. You never know who you're going to meet on here. I've actually met some really interesting clients through Upwork that it was early on in my business before I kind of started networking in other spaces. So you have your profile that's created. Now you're going to say like find work over here. And you can start searching for a job. So let's say I want to do client success. I don't actually know if this will bring anything up. Here I have a social media ad specialist position I can look at. Create lead generation for web development agency. So I can really start looking at all these different positions that someone is looking for related to a skill set that I believe I have. So if you're going to use Upwork, for research or for finding clients, you can go back to that original skills sheet that you did last week and start plugging in some things here. Now, as far as research goes, what I like to do, let's say I'm trying to figure out what I want to work in client success, or actually, let's do this. We'll say social media. I want to work in social media, but I don't really know what to offer on, to potential clients of, what am I going to provide? Okay, well, I'm going to search through I'm not all 4,000 of them, but I'm going to look at some of these jobs on here that people are posting. So this social media strategist job, what type of work are they looking to have done? And, this person really didn't give any information. So let's find a better example here. Email marketing manager. Okay, so there's people who, really want to have 2 newsletters written per month. Okay, I could do that. So here, like this gives me an idea of a package I could create. And then I'm going to fine tune it to be something that I want to provide, but it kind of starts giving you ideas of what's out there, what people are looking for. And just, right here, here's a bunch of keywords that Upwork has now given me that I can include either in my proposals that I'm going to create or in my social media marketing. But it's great. It's just a great place to do research and kind of figure out what's out there, what could I create and who needs what. Now, let's say, okay, I am actually okay with the 20%. Maybe I'm at the very beginning of my business and this is something that I'm okay with. I really just want to get some work underneath my belt and I'm not willing to do kind of the back end work on my own yet. So great, 20% to make sure I get paid. Sounds good to me. And I am a social media strategist. So when I look at a position on here, some of the things I really want to look at is their hourly rate. Is that within my hourly rate? Okay, let's say, go back to that example of my hourly rate being $40 an hour. So if my hourly rate was $40 an hour, then their minimum rate actually matches that because Upwork would take 20% of this, which is $10, and that would leave me with $40 an hour. So I can make this work, okay? They're looking for expert level, so maybe I really do know social media. I wouldn't let this turn you off too much. If you have absolutely no experience and someone's asking for an expert, it might not be the best fit. But if you do have some experience, you really do understand how social media works, you've done some, additional research on social media, then go for it. They honestly don't know what an expert is. So they just want you to have some experience in here. Another thing to look at is time zone. Okay. Time zone can be huge. Now it's not end all, like you don't have to have clients in your time zone. I work with clients in all the time zones. The thing is that you need to be aware of is for this position, am I going to be having to do meetings with them? And most likely you would, because you really want to understand their voice and their marketing strategy and their ideal client, right? However, can you make some meetings in the Eastern time zone work? Let's say your Pacific time zone, then most likely, yeah, you can figure out some meetings that would work for both of you. Now, if there's a lot more client interaction, that's when you might want to have someone in your time zone. So just something to consider. You can look here at how many proposals that they have received on this job, if they've been interviewing yet or not for this. And let's see if it tells me up here. Oh yeah, okay. So here it's telling me I have 120 available connects. Basically, connects are kind of like points in this system. And if I wanted to apply for this position, it's going to take 4 of my points away. Now, these I'm not actually sure how many I get per month because I don't ever apply for anything on Upwork, but I do know that they give you more connects every month and they do expire at some point as well. This person has not hired anyone yet. So this is their only job that's open, but they haven't hired anyone. Their payment is not verified. So I would just be cautious with this account. Let's go look at another one here. Okay, so here is a great example. If I'm trying to build a package, it tells me a lot of information about what someone is looking for, okay? Down here, I can kind of see, I'm seeing a trend now. People, my $40 hourly rate, let's say if that's my rate for social media, strategist, which is actually kind of low, but I can kind of start to get an idea of what people think this is worth. One thing to consider is that when people post something on Upwork, they're not considering that 20% that Upwork is taking out of our paycheck, because unless they are paying, like boosting their position, they're not paying anything. The business doesn't pay to do this. It's all on the contractor, which is just, I'm not the biggest fan of Upwork because of that, because, I don't think it should all be on the contractor. So, I'm looking at their time zone again. There's reviews, so you can kind of go see how other independent contractors have liked working with them, how many jobs they have posted versus their hire rate. Here's a great thing to look at. Have they actually spent money? Because there's some people who just like post stuff on here and you spend all this time applying for it, use your connects. But if they've never spent money, it's kind of a question of like, they might just be new to the platform, but they also might just be putting stuff out there and then they don't actually take it seriously. So I like to look and see, like, do they actually hire people on here and are they active? This is another great thing. Sometimes you'll see things on here that says like their average hourly rate paid is like $3 an hour. You don't even want to apply to that, because for whatever reason, they are finding extremely cheap work on here and they're not going to value you and the work that you can provide. So just check this out. I would be happy, even if my rate was, let's say 80, I would still be willing to apply for a position where their average hourly rate is 40, because I know that they value the work that their independent contractors are providing. So again, it says ongoing project. See, this person right here is only looking for an intermediate talent. And so even if you just have kind of ran your own social media for your business, I would say jump into this and apply for this one, because really it doesn't hurt to apply. There are quite a bit of proposals on this one. This client is not very active. If I have, 120 connects, I wouldn't be as picky about applying for a position because I have a lot of points to use. I do believe you can buy more connects. I've never done that, but I think if you really are trying to put your name out there, then go for it. If you do work on here and have clients, you can request them to give you a review. I believe, I'm not sure if the project has to be done or not, but it's a great thing just because how I'm viewing this job posting, they can then go preview my profile, see what my experience is, and look at any client reviews. So I make sure that when I was using this platform, I requested reviews. And so I do have a 5-star review in here, and it shows the amount of money that I brought in, given I did very little work on this platform. So it doesn't show a lot, but it definitely is something. You can save the jobs that you find. So as you're going through here, if I wanted to save them, I can save the ones that I like. That way I don't have to open all of them yet. And then they're just going to show up here in my save job file. And let's see if there's anything else I want to share with you guys on here. So the one thing with Upwork, here you can see payment verified, is this part. This is where you're going to benefit the most from working. Well, it not only has all these remote jobs for you to go through, which is a benefit in the very beginning. So I'm not anti-Upwork. I don't love their 20%. But the payment verified option is huge, because what they're doing is they are verifying payment with this client before I even start working with them, so that I know this client has to pay. Okay. And I mean, I have to do the work as well. I mean, it's two-sided, so it's also protecting them. But once I do the work, they're taking the money from the client. They're saying, this contractor provided XYZ. You said you were going to pay them this. And so Upwork handles all that side of things. And so that's kind of nice, because you're not stuck with a client who is late on payment, or who's like, well, I thought it can get sticky. And so it's nice when you do have kind of that middle provider here who's taking care of all the finances. I don't think this is a long-term business model for you, but I think it's a great place to either research what's out there, find keywords, see what people are thinking certain projects are worth. Or if you just want to get some, play around, you're not sure exactly what you want to do and you want to go find some projects. There are definitely some one-time projects on here. And so that's a lot of fun as well, because you could, in the beginning, you're like, well, I might want to write blogs, or I might want to do social media content, or I might want to, learn how to run ads. Who knows what it is that you want to do? You could go find one-time projects on here and get some experience with it and see like if you actually enjoyed it. And then that's going to help you kind of define exactly what you want to become an expert in. So I think it's a great platform. It's worth creating a profile and just kind of messing around on it, seeing what's out there. You can talk to people if you want, or you can just kind of observe. It is a platform that a lot of recruiters do use. As a recruiter myself, it's not my go-to, but I will sometimes, if it's a very specific role that a client of mine is looking for, I will come on here and post a job just to see if I can find someone. But only if I am struggling finding the right person on LinkedIn or Facebook, because those are always my go-tos. But it's not a bad place to be. There's a lot of people on here, and you can get a lot out of it. So that's just a quick overview of Upwork. I will also be posting later in the course some tutorials on how to use LinkedIn and Facebook to look at clients and kind of what jobs are out there as well. So continue working on your homework. Tonight's homework is optional if you would like to make a free Upwork account and just kind of play around with it, build out your profile, and then go see what kind of jobs are available. It's not a bad thing to have. It's free to have a profile, so it doesn't hurt, and I think it can be a great research tool. So I hope you guys all have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.